Welcome to the Geeks, 31 Days of Horror for Halloween. This is Lil.
And this is Steve.
And tonight we're reviewing The Nun from 2018. So for those of you who have not been with us before, we'll play for you our rating system.
This has a rating system in place that we like to call 0 to 0. If whatever horror movie we're reviewing is terrifying only to the most infantile who get nightmares from PG-13 reboots, it gets a 0 if it's a gorgasm-inducing slaughter party that satiates your most devious and monstrous desires. It gets a hero.
A priest with a haunted past and a novice on the threshold of her final vows are sent by the Vatican to investigate the death of a young nun in Romania and confront a malevolent force in the form of a demonic nun. Is that right? Is that good? So this is from the Conjuring series, because I was really thrown off and I was like, what? Why are those people here? But starring Demon Bichir, Tessa Farmiga, Patrick Wilson shows up, here, and what's her face also shows up.
Vera Farmiga?
Vera Farmiga. Is that her daughter?
That's her sister.
Oh, this is her sister, the nun?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. Okay. And Jonas Bloquet, who plays Frenchie, my favorite character in this. So
Frenchie was tight.
Frenchie was fun. So I never watched this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This year we're doing a lot of this exorcism type movies.
Mm-hmm.
These are movies that I don't care for. I'm not scared of the demons and this stuff. I always think that
it's nice though. Last year
shall compel you.
Last year was the found footage theme. This year,
no, we get themes. I give this a. There's some good into it. I like it. There is also some just redundancies that I've seen now, especially because we've done quite a few of these. It just seems like they're all very similar. So I'm going to give it a high sidekick. It's not. It doesn't hit the scare factor as much as I would hope. Relies a little bit too much on the fake out dream type sequence.
Not as much as the Exorcism of God.
No, you're right. That one did a lot. But I think also that one had maybe was no. This one probably had a little bit better acting. It just and the vanquishing of the characters at the end, just the ending didn't sell me as much as I had hoped. It's a high sidekick. I like the creepy nun figure. I think it's a different take on something creepy. You see a nun and you're not thinking creepy demonic thing, but it works here. So it's not a terrible movie. I just was hoping for, because I've heard stuff and maybe my expectations were a little too high, to be a little bit more scared. And so high sidekick.
So believe it or not, I've never seen this either. The reason why I picked this was because The Nun 2 is getting so much good word of mouth. Everyone's saying they're liking that Nun 2 quite a bit, and I'm like, well, I want to see that, but I can't very well go watch The Nun 2 if I haven't seen The Nun 1. And the reason I didn't watch The Nun 1 is because I heard bad things. So going into it, my expectations were low, which is why I feel really comfortable at a high sidekick. I actually had a good time here. I thought that a lot of this stuff was just well done. I like the setting. I like the music. I like this creepy location they're in. I like the big head spin at the end where you find out a big kind of secret about all the nuns in this monastery. I like the character of Frenchie a lot. He was a breath of fresh air. He was so flirty and fun and just kind of this rascal kind of guy, but he was also like a good guy, the hero. I didn't care so much for Father Burke, the priest here. He was just kind of whatever. Also, why the fuck in every movie, why did they all just live on like 8 feet of topsoil that you could just dig up so fucking easily. like with no shoes, in like 10 minutes you can dig 6 feet down, 6 feet long, fucking 4 feet across, like no problem. And why do you always dig the hole all the way out to get the fucking coffin open? Why do you have to dig the whole fucking thing? Like,
yeah,
it's a weird thing. Like, it should have been the middle of the next day before she got that fucking thing dug up. But I digress. This is a movie where a lot of things are unbelievable. So that I'm not going to get too hung up on the logistics of that. It was just one of those things that really irritated me. But yeah, I mean, the vanquishing of the demon here at the end, it was kind of anticlimactic. And I think that a lot of movies kind of live and die by how you get rid of the monster, you know? A lot of times it's blowing the monster up, you know, and you have to come up with new fun ways to do that. A lot of time you kill it with fire. A lot of, you know, there's all sorts of kind of tropes about how to get rid of the monster at the end. And here,
spoilers.
I didn't think it was like terrible. It felt kind of like, wow, that was easy. Like, why didn't you just do that to begin with? But it was a cool visual, you know, where she comes up and spits the blood of Jesus. You know, that was kind of cool.
Spoilers, Steve. I mean, I guess we're in spoilers. But see, that's
you're gonna just throw the spoiler alert in a little bit ago.
Yeah, whatever. But that's the thing. Like, why? How is the blood of Jesus just everywhere? Like,
no, it was in that vial, and she said,
well, why? Like,
they kept it there.
I know what they said, but it still made no sense. Like,
well, no, it doesn't make sense that they have it, but they have it, so they're gonna use it. You know,
it's a really easy MacGuffin for something that's probably impossible.
Well, and plus, like, I mean, she shouldn't have even been able to do that. She was being drowned, and that's after having her spine broken 4 different times in the movie, having a pentagram carved into her back. Like, you know, there's a lot going on here that this girl shouldn't be able to even do that. And boy, she's got a set of pipes on her. She does a lot of screaming. I actually kind of like Tessa Farmiga in here. I thought she was cool. She has this very young, innocent look.
She does, and it's why, I mean, and now I'm looking that she's 21 years younger than her sister, why I thought it was her daughter, because it makes a lot of sense. I'm like, holy cow. Because you're right, she looks super young, and I was just like, I'm actually shocked that they're 21 years apart, because that makes sense. Yeah, and to me, what saved this movie, no joke, I probably would have been bored, it was Frenchie. Frenchie, like,
he disappears for too long in the middle,
and I was bored. Like, the whole, again, it's the scene we talk about that you were talking about, Steve. Like, the whole in the cemetery scene and all this stuff. I was just like watching. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, the only thing that's cool is like the bell. I like that.
That was cool. I told my wife, I said, when I die, I want you to, whenever I'm buried, I want you to have a bell on my tombstone. The wire doesn't need to go anywhere, but that would be a cool little touch.
Yeah, I actually thought of the same thing. I was like, but maybe I want a bullhorn. You know, some kind of crazy.
Super fucking loud. Hello. So, spoiler alert for The Nun 2. From what I hear,
okay,
it's a movie where there's 2 stories going on at the same time. One following Sister Irene, and the other following Frenchie.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what got me disappointed here. I almost was at a moving this to a sidekick to a low sidekick, because we get the end here where we're now back in present day, or wherever present day was with this story being told, and Patrick Wilson and them are talking about the Frenchie being possessed, because like
it's like the 70s. It's like the 60s, I think, that they're in The Nun.
Well, 20 years later, yeah.
So it's
the 80s, but it's like no. And
I think actually it's earlier than that. I think The Conjuring shit takes place in the 70s. So I think that first Conjuring movie is in the 70s. So this would be the 50s, which is right after World War II, which is what they were talking about, bomb that fucking convent. So
yeah. So
it lines up.
it's all fine with the timing, but it's like I was disappointed that it was Frenchie possessed, even though I knew, like, we saw the upside down cross kind of showing up on his neck. But then it was like I kind of wanted to leave it that way, like, don't tell me what happened to him. But then we get this flash forward, and it's like,
they're doing the tie-in. They have to try to connect it. Don't forget the Conjuring universe when the Nun comes out is very profitable.
No, I know, because it cost us a little to do all this, and they make a decent amount of money. But
I like this notion that she finds out at the towards the end of the movie that all these nuns she's been talking to and praying with and all stuff, none of them are real. They've all been like just these manifestations of
which is nuts.
Demon, which I mean, there's been full on talking, speaking roles of people acting their asses off with Tessa Farmiga, and they were not real.
Yeah,
I mean, they were real, but like in the movie, to find out. I mean, there was like nuns in the background talking and doing chores and shit. Like they put a lot of work in it, being real convincing.
Agree. It's
I thought it was cool.
It's why I gave it a high psychic, because there were great elements to this story. I even liked this priest. He made some weird choices, but I liked the priest. But again, it goes to like every single one of these things when I'm watching it. Now I'm comparing everybody to Russell Crowe,
and like, that we have not found one that is a comparison to Russell Crowe yet.
No, and I'd be
Russell Crowe is the king of exorcists.
Of exorcist priests, yeah. He blows away the original exorcist guys, yeah. And,
everybody.
But it's
even better than what's his name, the fucking butler, Jeffrey.
Everybody was better than Jeffrey. I mean, come on, Jeffrey was ridiculous. So no, there you go. So that's
and then what about the nun herself, Vecna himself, herself, whatever itself? I think it looks cool. It's got that kind of long. It kind of looks like Art the Clown in the nun outfit.
Yeah,
it's got the black teeth, the long crooked nose. Like.
Well, and it's
effective.
It is, and it's also creepy at times when you see her pop in, pop out, and it's easy for her to pop in, pop out because there's not much to it, right, with all the black. But then also there was that one scene where they were chasing what's her face down the hall, and like it was all the nuns that had no faces, it's like the black hood covering them. I was like, that's kind of a cool visual.
I like that visual of her floating down the hall and the candles going out as she's getting closer, and that creepy ass music playing. Like they do a really good job building suspense and building that tension up.
They definitely do, and I am intrigued, and I can't wait to see the Nun 2 and see how that plays out.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it. I was surprised by it. I was like, man, but maybe that's a product of me having such low expectations going in, and then seeing what I got and being like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I think that's where I was at as well.
Seen worse?
A lot worse. So, all right. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you guys for your support. This is Will.
And this is Steven. Until tomorrow night, everybody, say your prayers and keep it creepy.
Priest with a haunted past, like they all are in these exorcism type movies, and a novice nun who has not yet, because they keep bringing this up, said her final vows, are sent by the Vatican to investigate the death of a young nun in Romania and confront a malevolent force. It's late. In the form of a demean. I'm going to start that over.
Wow.
I'm going to start that over.
Oh, wow. This better be somewhere on a blooper roll. Wow.
Yeah.
We're witnessing a little heavy stroke live on air.
Yeah, shit. That's my nun nightmare. 3, 2, 1.